And it's about time that I keep you informed right here on MISHAPI Voice TV English News Update. A big thanks for choosing your #1 television, and of course, we are Africa's vision in the world. From our English news desk, we have a lot in store for you, but before I give you more, let's dive into the headlines. UDPS Tshisekedi, the presidential party, is disgusted by the systematic and targeted surveillance of its executive and activists carried out by invaders in the eastern region of the country. CCPS expresses its gratitude to the head of SADC and N.R.C. for the commitment to finding peace in the country. Sylvestre Makambo invited the countries of the world and Africa to stop diplomatic relations with Rwanda, considering the number of deaths rising in the country led by M23. Calm prevailed this Monday, February 17th in the town of Bukavu in South Kivu, which came under the attack of M23 rebels a few days ago. And lastly, on Matter Sports, is that Barcelona are back at the top of the La Liga table after beating Rayo Vallecano 1-0. Welcome. In a press release announced to the public this Monday, February 17th, UDPS Tshisekedi, the presidential party, is disgusted by the systematic and targeted surveillance of its executive and activists carried out by invaders in the eastern region of the country, especially in North and South Kivu, since January last year. The party alerts the international community about this intention barbaric act of the violation of basic rights of the affected residents. The party also confronts the loyal soldiers and nationalist fighters by asking them not to accept disappointments nor alcoholism and even manipulations done by the aggressors on social networks, and to stick firmly in its noble and just struggle done against the enemy of the Republic. And now the Committee of Peace and Security Conflicts in the country, CCPS, expresses its gratitude to the head of state of the South African Development Community and those of EAC, East African Community, for their commitment to finding peace in the conflicts that are tearing apart the east of the country. In a letter sent to the president of these two region organizations and signed by the chief administrator, Mr. Patient Bashombe, this structure of civil organization reports that various resolutions resulting from the joint meeting of SADC and EAC held in Dar es Salaam on February 8th have raised great hopes among the residents of the region. CCPS welcomes the recognition of this resolution taken during the conference, in particular, the integration of the Luanda-Nairobi process to promote a unique system of direct dialogue between Congo and Rwanda, an immediate cessation of hostilities, and the establishment of an effective ceasefire to provide a real opportunity for the political dialogue. Meeting of Ministers of Defense of SADC and EAC member states within 5 days of the meeting to implement the commitments made. The CCPS, however, notes that with regret that despite this announcement, this strategic meeting of defense ministers have not yet taken place, while on the ground, it reports the situation continues to deteriorate dangerously. And moving on is that during a press conference about the war of aggression in Rwanda, the president of the political platform Love of Neighbor and Country, Sylvestre Makambo, invited the countries of the world and Africa to stop diplomatic relations with Rwanda, considering the number of deaths that continue to rise in the war led by AFC M23. While confirming the situation of Bukavu, the government calls on the residents to be careful, patient, and united in facing this ordeal behind the armed forces and the President of the Republic. Calm prevailed this Monday, February 17th, in the town of Bukavu in South Kivu, which came under the attack of M23 rebels a few days ago. However, social and economic activities are still crippled, business houses are closed, schools and administrative offices are not working, financial institutions, especially banks and other financial institutions, have also closed their doors. Traffic is almost non-existent. Public transport drivers are still monitoring the situation before resuming their journey. Local radio stations have been broadcasting music all day since the political and military authorities left the city. They have temporarily suspended the broadcast of their various programs. And that's all from our local news. We now dive into international update, where thousands of visitors from all over the world climbed Sicily's Mount Etna to witness the volcano's latest eruption up close. Etna's first eruption of the year started on February 11th, but intensified on Monday, sending plumes of ash and lava into the air. Catania Airport diverted dozens of flights over the weekend due to spread of cloud of ash. The Regional Civil Protection Service said it deployed volunteer emergency units to provide assistance where necessary. During previous eruptions, nearby towns have been covered by black volcanic ash. However, these eruptions has caused minimal disruptions. Although Mount Etna erupts frequently, lava has not reached nearby towns in centuries. And still on international update is that Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky confirmed that his country would not take part in the upcoming talks between US and Russia. The two nations are expected to meet in Saudi Arabia, where they will discuss restoring ties and negotiations on ending the war in Ukraine. Zelensky said his country had not been invited to participate and has made it clear in the past that he would not accept any negotiations about Ukraine that do not include his country. This comes after US President Donald Trump spoke with the Russian President Vladimir Putin and Zelensky on call, where the two spoke about opportunities to achieve peace and discuss about their readiness to work together. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who will be attending the talks, said Europeans should not be invited to the talks. Zelensky traveled to the United Arab Emirates late on Sunday and is later expected to travel to Turkey and Saudi Arabia. He said these trips were not related to US-Russia talks.
Я не знаю, что им делать за переговорным столом. Если они будут вот так выцыганивать какие-то лукавые идеи про заморозку конфликта, а сами по обычаю, по своему нраву и привычкам будут иметь в виду продолжение войны, то зачем их туда приглашать?
And that marks the end of our international update. You are watching MISHAPI Voice TV, where Africa's vision in the world. That great news takes us for a short break. I will be back with more on sports. And now Barcelona are back at the top of the La Liga table after Robert Lewandowski's goal that sealed a 1-0 win over Rayo Vallecano at Camp Nou Stadium. They now have same points as Real Madrid, but with more goals. And lastly is that Victor Osimhen has scored and reached 24 goals and assists in 24 games as a Galatasaray player since joining on loan from Napoli. This comes after scoring a brace in a game against Rizespor that Galatasaray won 2-1. And that marks the end of MISHAPI Voice TV English News Update. It's always a pleasure having you on board, and of course you can get more of this news update by following us at MISHAPI Voice TV. Have a great time. I'm Crispin Otieno.